Well, now it is now confirmed that our lawmakers will be leaving the central prison. And you know, the valid bond was signed, and like we're respecting the rule of law, like the president and everybody said yesterday, that the rule of law should be respected. And this is something that we also respect, and by the grace of God, their intervention and every other thing has used to something. So we have the former vice president who has also expressed herself about everything that is unfolding. I'm Vivi, how are you?
I'm fine, I thank God for a beautiful sunny day here in MONROVIA.
Well, I see you all smiling, even though yesterday your mood was different. But today I see you're smiling, and I see that you're being in solidarity with everything that is unfolding based on your stand as a lady who is a respecter of the rule of law. I mean, what do you have to say today with everything that is unfolding?
Well, yesterday my mood was somewhere because I actually went and saw lawmakers, leaders of our country. I know some people say not the president, but we shouldn't continue to do things that are wrong because it's now. I'm happy today that I understand that the bill has been accepted and the bond will be made available so that they will be released. And yesterday in my comments I said I would hope that the judiciary would uphold the rule of law. They are the second branch of government, and the fact of the matter, they are the ones that uphold the society, whether it's peaceful coexistence, whether it's all of us following the rules and regulations so that we can live in an environment where all of us feel peaceful and at peace. I believe that they did the right thing today. I want to thank the judiciary for allowing the system to work, and that our police will be released today.
Yesterday, your former boss, who happened to be the former president of the country, President MONROVIA, raised a concern, and that concern was for the police to call upon the lawmakers and the former speaker at the police station and delay them until the term for the opening of the court elapsed, and they had to send them to South Beach. I mean, what have you to say to that?
And I don't know about former boss, just where remains my boss.
Your boss, I'm sorry.
Female vice president of the country. That is something that's very important to me that I can never forget. So when it comes to former President WEAH, I don't think you can call him a former boss.
Sorry, I intend to say former President WEAH. You know, yeah.
Liberia has had these instances before. People play all kinds of shenanigans. I think it was intentional to keep them in jail for the reason. I thought it was sad because lawmakers are not lawbreakers. But this is a case that's available. I believe that they would have asked them to come in for questioning as they asked them to. But in the end, they would have been let go on their own reconnaissance. These are not people that are prepared to run away. These are not people that are prepared to escape the law. They are lawmakers. They are legal residents of our country. And I think they should have been given the due process that the law requires. Yet, they spent a few nights in central prison, and I hope that they will be released soon so that they can go back to their families. Look forward to this process taking hold. I want to remind people that everyone is innocent until they are proven guilty. And in a criminal case, the basis is that people must be judged without any reasonable doubt. If there's any reasonable doubt, it will be released. So I hope the government has this case as it has been saying. But we will be looking at the process and ensuring that it is free, fair, and transparent by the police.
Thank you. And finally, there are thousands of your people outside there that was galvanizing themselves to go to the court to receive the former speaker and his colleagues. I mean, what have you to say? Because you have thousands of people that are following you right now.
Thank you for listening to the call of the leaders of the opposition, especially former President WEAH, coming out to show solidarity. Touch one.
touch all.
Thank each of you for coming out and for showing that we are still united. Though we are in opposition, the election showed us that there's a very thin line. There's a blue Liberia, there's a green Liberia. When it comes to things happening amongst us, whether it's a regular person or whether it's a lawmaker, we must react the same, because any attack on one person means it's an attack on the entire opposition.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Hey, one minute. Excuse me, you 1 minute. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Now we also hear the former president, they also hear just 1 minute of his time, because I see he's all smiling. I mean, based on everything he did for the last few days in working with the rule of law. As a matter of fact, you know, he is a respecter of the rule of law. He's somebody under his leadership where police used to feel, protester. When people protesting, he always instructed the police, you give the people water and you do everything. And today he's here. I mean, that is the past. Oh, Mr. President, you visited the Supreme Court. I mean, the court today, in solidarity or standing with the former speaker and his colleagues that was incarcerated. And based on our understanding that a valid bond have been signed and they may be released, or they have already been released. What have you to say to your supporters?
Yeah, but you listen to the Vice President. What I want to say here, this is not to make news. It's not for news. You know, the way the lawmakers are treated is wrong, it's unconstitutional. Those people are lawmakers, and we have to respect them. If you call lawmakers, you took them from the job to inquire of anything, you cannot delay them, don't ask them questions. Even the father, the infant, you should ask them questions. If you believe that they have done something, then convict them. You know, they judge them and then convict them. You cannot waste their time. Lawmakers' time, they're supposed to be working in parliament. You know, waste their time and then turn around, delay them, and incarcerate them. That is unfair. That is unfair. That is wrong. That is wrong. That is you infringe on your right, you know, because you think you have the power. Nobody has the power. The citizen has the power. So what we did today in solidarity, we joined together. I'm not going to take credit for this. The first thing I must do is to thank our lawyers, those that have been working assiduously through all these episodes. You know, we must give them credit. You know, I joined them with our team here to make sure that we're in solidarity with our lawmakers. I think they were wrongly put into prison. That is wrong, because they're going to be on the record that they went to jail, and that word is wrong. You know, innocent people, you know, that you jail. You know, this is wrong. You know, and like I said, we need to stop this. We need to stop it. This is wrong. It's unconstitutional. This is wickedness at the core. You know, nobody wants to hear our country history, but we as a leader, we need to let people know. It's the same behavior of police that caused April 14, April 12. I remember when people were calling for police to step down. Esther Parker case. We were here with young children. In the 21st century, it can be happening. You know, so the police need to exercise restraint sometimes. You know, the order where it's coming from, we don't want to know where it's coming from. But if you're in that place, the job, you have to have a sense of reasoning to know that this person is wrong or is right. And these people are all friends here, with family. You understand? Don't let nobody force you to do what you don't want to do. Real people resign. They said, no, I'm not going to convict the person because the person is not wrong. The law is the law. If I have to do this, then I resign. That's not how people do. You know, but you can't be conspiring against people because they believe that your boss may say you must do this. And then at the end of the day, it creates tension in the country. They will look more peaceful coexistence. And then when the tension rising, then again, then you say you're giving a bomb. So what's the essence of that? What's the essence? If you need that, though immunity was there, then you could have solved the problem. But you want to put everybody together, put everybody heads together. This is wrong. You know, Africa need to change. You know, if you look around, there's a lot of issues in the African countries. Liberia had an issue. If Liberians are not smart, they will go back to where they came from, and we don't want that. You know what I'm saying? There's no government, there's no president, and you know what I'm saying, have the power more than the people.
Yes.
The people has the power. And that's why I saw, that why you see me, everything I was doing here to not provoke anybody for the government to work in the interest of the people and the interest of the country. That's what we did here. You know? Because you forget to know that cities were in government. All the police that in the police station, now for United Party, they got some seditions there. Even the army. So you know that we all need to get together. You know what I'm saying? You know, work together for the benefit of this country.
Finally,
what happened is wrong.
Finally, brother, since after the elections, it is the first time that we have seen the conglomerations of oppositions to send a signal to the government. I mean, what does that signify?
Well, I think people realize that we need to be honest. You know, this is in the interest of our country. And I must applaud those opposition leaders that they didn't see party or partisans, you know, partisanship. You know what I'm saying? That came on board, you know, to speak. You know, I think that when the voices are together, it's louder than one voice. You know, so what they did was correct, because tomorrow it could happen to them. It could happen to them. You know, so that I hope that will exercise restraint. Nobody said that you should not check anything. No, you should check, but if you check in, then you got to abide by the law, the rules and regulations. Because to convict somebody, you understand, there's rules and regulations. You cannot waste people's time. It's almost 72 hours. The boy could die in prison. Abu could die in prison. And I went to the prison yesterday. He was still at the prison. Yeah, even if you have a doctor or a nurse or what have you, you're supposed to be at the hospital being treated. You're not supposed to be in the prison, because I'm sure he was overwhelmed by what happened in the kind of facility they took him. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to be in jail. I don't care who you are. I wonder yesterday to see the young people. You understand? So this is wrong. This is wrong. We need to treat each other good. Because tomorrow we'll not be in Liberia. We'll meet again in another land. And that way you know that, you know, I treated the guy like an enemy, and then he may not save you. You see, so if we want to save each other, we need to work with each other and forget about the political
happening.
Political ties. You know what I'm saying? We are Liberians. We are Liberians. That's why I said to one of my friends, you know, I said to him, say, well, it's you that used to ask me for telephone and ask me for money to eat because you get it. That you totally in power and you're writing people and you disrespecting people around here. This is wrong. People that was running around asking people for stuff, they're the one behaving like this. This is that wrong. We need to be peaceful. We need to be all we are Liberians. We need to work with each other. You know what I'm saying? There's no power that is greater than the people's power. So you got to know that, and we got to be cognizant of that. If it can't be our brother's keeper, then you know there can be a front line.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you. And finally, there's your partisans were going, or they have example to go to the court. I mean, your message to them before we leave you.
No, well, like we call all our coalition members and sympathizers and well-wishers and partisans to go in solidarity and make sure that they are calm and peaceful. I think what they exemplified today was correct. That is the right way to do it. While your leaders at the court, you observe the situation and how they call it. But they're always willing to be around, you know, for justice. You know, so today I mean, the team did well. The partisan, the well-wishers, the sympathizers, the coalition, and the leaders that came. You know, Seko, I've been to jail before. You know, Seko, it's not the best place to be. You know, because it's not the best place to be. It's not the best place to be. So we need to have restraint. We need to have restraint. And nobody need to plan to incarcerate people and thinking that you'll get away. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. So, but we are happy. We're happy that our lawyers work very hard. We must commend them. And I want to say this again: the lawyers work very hard because to work against government or with government is a difficult thing. It's a difficult thing because these guys are opposing government way of doing things. So to succeed today, I mean, it's a phenomenon. It's a phenomenon. To succeed is a phenomenon. So we give them the kudos. We clap for them.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. It was nice talking to you and your Vice President. Well, that was
Chief Dr. Taylor, and all of our partisans, supporters, and well-wishers out there, even the members of the faith estate who created the awareness for this day. We appreciate our partisans and supporters. We are interested in peace and stability in this country. As we indicated, we remain unreserved in our commitment to that. All we want is for due process to be accorded every citizen, irrespective of social, political, economic, or geographical status. That doesn't matter. The law is blind, and so that's what we want. So we are happy we went to court today, as we indicated to our supporters last night, to go. We cannot lead from the back. We could not lead from the back. So we ask our supporters to turn out. So this is why as leaders, as political leaders of the different parties, we went on the ground of the Supreme Court today at the Temple of Justice, rather, to show to our supporters that indeed, just as they are precious, just as our lives are precious, so are their lives also being precious. So we could not tell them to come up and then we stay behind. No. So we lead and we lead from the front. And we are very, very much appreciative to all of them, the judiciary system, the law process, the legal process is unfolding, is taking the root. The bond was signed. As I speak to you now, Honorable Funati Kofa, former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Dixon Sibo, Honorable Abu Kamara, and Honorable Jacob Debbie The second, as I speak to you now, they are being released, from the MONROVIA Central Prison. That process is on. So with this, we want to appreciate our supporters and we want to urge them to remain calm, to continue to be law-abiding, to be peaceful. As we said yesterday, that they are coming out today should be in a peaceful manner and form, and that the police also should not provoke, they should not provoke. And today with all that is happening without any incident, so I like to be a reality, try to be a reality. So the police also acted right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.